This is your number one FM Korean radio station. Hope FM where you listen and live. My name is Favoured Franc.
Sharon Naitore is my name, and I'm happy to and glad to be in your company this morning on Activate. It's time for the Corporate Hub. And you know, we talk matters, biashara matters, business matters, personal growth matters, employment, employees, employers.
Yeah, I see.
And that is the conversation we were having last week about employees and employers. But today we want to shift gears just a little bit. We have with us Coach Alice Ngigi. She was gracious enough to agree to come again. And now today she is a personal growth and leadership coach. And so today we want to talk about personal development.
Yes,
what
sure.
it is it important? Who should be concerned about personal development? All the questions you can think about around the topic of personal development. If you have a question, kindly plug in. Ask that question on 20933
0717 400 555. And of course, we are live on our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube platforms. Let us know the question you have for our guest today this morning about personal growth and development.
All right, I'm welcoming Alice now. Good morning.
Good morning, Sharon.
Good to have you.
Nice to be here.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Thank you for agreeing to come back and be a blessing to us.
Thank you for having me.
And today we want to talk about personal development. Maybe just for starters, what is it? What is personal development?
Thank you, Sharon. That's a good question. Personal development is basically a process of self-improvement. And it focuses mainly on every aspect of your life, different aspects of your life. And once you have understood where you are, what you are, then you can decide the skills, the attitudes that you would want to improve. Because let's face it, everybody has something that they can improve on at every time in your life, in every aspect of your life. But I think the major challenge that we have is that nobody ever told us that we can do that. I don't know whether you have ever sat in a class where you have been taught about doing a plan for your life.
Where?
Yes, exactly. That is our challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it is on this part of the world where that is not taken seriously. When you look at what happens even in the West, as early as teenage, when the kids are graduating from high school, they actually have plans. They are encouraged to write their life plans so that you know where you are going. So a lot of us, they grow up in the dark because we just went to school, we did our courses, we went to work, but that's about it. Yeah. So most of the time you will find that people focus either on career or maybe family or money. But that's not it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot, and I believe we'll be discussing a lot about that. Which other areas of your life you need to focus on?
Okay, yeah. I'm already interested when you say there's more than career.
Yeah,
there's more than family.
Yeah.
There's more than money. I'm here thinking, what else? What else? So, what personal growth areas are important in one's life, or are there areas, specific areas that one should be, thinking about?
Yeah, I always tell people that you are actually a whole person. You're here working, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a sister, you're a friend. I mean, you're everything, and you're the same person. So if you focus on only one area, your career, chances are that there are other areas of your life that will suffer. You have to think about your spirituality. Where are you? I believe as Christians, that's something that we think about, but it's not normal or usual for everybody. But you need to, because that connection with your Creator is what gives you stability in every other area of your life. So it's important to ask yourself, where am I in terms of my spirituality? Areas, the other area you need to focus on is your health. Whether we are talking about physical health, physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, that's an area that we need to talk about. I know during COVID, we started hearing a lot about emotional well-being, mental health. Why? Because nobody ever told us that that's something that we need to keep thinking about and asking ourselves, how am I doing emotionally? How am I doing mentally? Because if you don't think about that, then you may get to a point where you are completely out, and now you start wondering, what do I do when things are already bad? But we need to be thinking about that. Think about now career. Career, I know many times because we've gone to school and we were to get a career. Many times we focus on career. But even in career, are you thinking about where you want to be in terms of your career? What do you want to do? How are you developing yourself so that you can maximize on what you have and where you are? So we need to think about all these things. Personal development. Do we even plan about our fun, our recreation? Do we think about that?
We actually need to plan.
You need to plan. You need to plan.
Okay.
That's why many of us probably don't take holidays because we don't plan for them.
Yeah.
We don't think that they are necessary.
You're thinking, what will I go to do for 24 days?
And where?
Exactly.
And where?
Exactly. And of course, relationships. Because we are relational beings. God didn't intend that we live alone, solitary lives. So you need to think about the key relationships in your life. If, for example, you're married, how is your relationship with your spouse? How would you want it to be? How would you want it to look like? With your children, with your siblings, relationships at work, the social networks that you're talking about. So these are things that we need to think about and plan for. Yeah.
All right. And now talking of the different areas in life that one needs to grow and even plan, is there any given age that one should start now thinking of personal growth?
Yeah, good question. Someone has said that the best time should have been 20 years ago.
Okay.
The next best time is now.
All right.
I thought life begins at 40.
No way. Don't be like me. When I talked about my plan last time, I think I was just about 40. They say life begins at 40, but what has happened to the 40 years before? You probably just wasted them. I know we keep saying you waste time, but you can never waste time. A day is 24 hours. Whether you use it productively or not, it remains 24 hours. So guess who you waste? You waste yourself.
I see.
Yes.
Ouch.
So, yeah, it's the hard truth.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why you need to take personal growth seriously. I was mentoring, I'm still mentoring him, a young man. And when we sat and we looked at how do you plan for your life, what are you looking at? He has just graduated. And so when I gave him these categories to work on, family, he asked, what do you mean by family?
Yeah, what do you mean, by the way?
Is it the family where I come from? I said, yeah, both. And also your family. Are you thinking about starting a family? As a young man, you're 24 now. He told me he's 24. You should be thinking, when do I want to start a family? At what age do I want to start a family? What kind of a family do I want to have? And that is the reason why you're finding a lot of people, they didn't think that, family is important. So at 35, that's when they're thinking, wow, time has gone. I need to do something. And then you start rushing and making the wrong decisions. So it's important to think these things. So to answer your question, Frank, any time is good time. Even if you have never done it and you're in your 60s, it's still okay to start and plan. What do I want to do with the next phase of my life after retirement?
So the earliest time is now.
The earliest time is now.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the different areas that you've mentioned, Alice, and it sounds, it can sound overwhelming. You're talking spiritual, you're talking health, you're talking career, you're talking... Who is going to do all these things and when?
It's your life. I'm sure you've heard this phrase very often now, work-life balance.
Yeah.
Why do you think people are looking for work-life balance? Because they focused on one area and forgot other areas. There are people who focus too much on making money, they forget their health or they forget their family.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, believe me, then look at one area. Where do I want to, which area will have the greatest impact in my life if I improved in this area? Let's say it's maybe your family.
Yeah.
You have improved in your family relationships. You're the same person who is going to work. When you improve your family relationships, your work relationships are likely to improve. If you improve in your finances, how you handle finances, you will actually find that the other areas are easier to do because, number one, you haven't ignored them. They are somewhere at the back of your mind. So it's not that much hard work. What would be hard work is for you to actually get to the end of life and you realize that you didn't do much.
Yeah.
I think that would be hard.
So all these areas, what I hear you saying is they are somehow interconnected.
They're interconnected
When
because
one
you're
works,
one person. You are the same person.
Yeah.
When you work on one area of your life, it's likely to have an impact in the other areas of your life.
Yeah. So if one area works, it's definite that the others are going to fall in place.
Exactly. We actually say how you do one thing is how you do all things. You can't be very rude at work and be an angel at home. I think we said that last time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so when you're improving in one area, it's likely to have an impact in every other area of your life. The only thing you need to do is to be conscious of it. The key word here maybe to say is to be intentional about what you do, about yourself, about the things that you plan for in your life. Just being intentional. What kind of mother do I want to be?
So I'm just thinking, how does the plan exactly look like, Alice? Because you're saying you need to sit and plan.
Yeah.
So when you say that, it sounds very big, very amorphous. How exactly does it look like?
Yeah.
Maybe you can give an example with one of the areas.
Exactly. Let's take, for example, an area like health.
Yeah.
And maybe even before we go there, let me say that for you to be able to plan, you need to have great self-awareness. Be honest with yourself. If it's that area of health, look at it and ask yourself, where am I? In terms of, am I maybe at my ideal weight? I know that is what we keep saying.
Yeah.
Am I eating right? Am I exercising? You know, those kind of things. Then you'll be able to tell yourself, because you can't lie to yourself. Let me be honest, this week I haven't really done exercises the way I ought to, but I know I should be exercising, but I haven't been exercising. So what does that mean? I can rate myself out of 10 and say maybe exercising in terms of health, I am at 5. So how do I now move? If 10 is the best, how do I move my 5 to maybe a 7 or an 8 so that I will be somewhere? It will probably mean I check what I am eating, and it's something that come up with the goals, the SMART goals we talk about. What are your goals in terms of health? If it's eating right, what will make me know that I'm eating right? Let it be something that you can measure. If it's exercising, am I exercising? Can I measure? Can I tell that I have actually exercised? So you have to look at those categories, check yourself, rate yourself, and then come up with a goal or two in that category. When we talk about a goal, then it becomes easier because it has to be smart. It has to be very specific.
Yeah.
If it's about weight, ideal weight, what is that ideal weight that I want? Let it not be amorphous, that I want to lose weight, because that's what many people say. Anything then will pass. But you need to be very specific. I want to move from 70 to 65, for example. That is measurable. We can come back and ask, did you get to your goal, ideal weight? Did you move from that 70 to 65? That is measurable, isn't it? Yeah, is it realistic? All those things. So look at each category, engage yourself very, very realistically, honestly, and then begin to ask yourself, for me to move from here where I am, what do I need to do? In some areas, you probably need maybe just one goal. If it's spiritual, what are you looking at? For some people, maybe they don't go to church, and maybe now the goal here is to begin to go to church. Others, maybe I don't read the Bible the way I ought to be reading the Bible, and now I need to read the Bible every day. That is a goal. So that is how you work out your plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Must they be written? Just asking.
Oh, that's a good question, which I hear all the time. And as someone who actually does a lot of work with goals and goal setting, I can tell you one of the reasons why we never accomplish the goals is because they are not written. It's because they are not written. Okay. Let's look at it. In January, we make a lot of resolutions. I want to go to the gym, I want to do this, but we don't write them there in the head, isn't it? How many things are you seeing or coming across every day? A lot of information. So when that is not very clear in your mind, it's just somewhere, it will not be prioritized in your mind. And that is why we never get to accomplish our goals. You should actually join my class. I teach a lot about that so that you see why it's important for you to write your goals.
Okay.
So the short and quick answer to that, it has to be written.
All right.
When it's not written, we say what is not written is not done.
So this demands a lot of discipline and, of course, an attitude of intentionality.
Exactly. And you have just said it. And you know what we do to ourselves when we don't write our goals? We tell us, we overrate ourselves. That I can do it. I'm good. I can do it. I can manage. But we know very well that we can manage. Self-discipline is a problem for a lot of us. And that is why you need a support system to just help you, to hold you to account.
Because I was just about to ask, do you need people to hold you accountable?
Oh, exactly. If you hold yourself accountable, you're going to be very modest to yourself. And I keep going back to my story of writing my goals and taking a whole year. I think I'm even modest talking about a year.
Tell us that story. Let's do practicals.
Thank you. Last week, I just touched it a little. And I talked about I was fired one Monday morning at 8 in the morning. And when I went back, I sat home for about 4 months before I got another job. And during that time, I did a lot of self-reflection. What is it? What could I have done? I couldn't pick anything that caused me to be fired. But one of the things that was so clear to me was that I had actually forgotten to plan for myself. I was good in bringing the numbers. I was good in selling. But I had forgotten an important aspect about me. I hadn't heard about personal growth that time. So what I did was to sit and just say, where do I want to see myself 20 years from now? One, I don't want to ever be told by anybody, I don't want you anymore. I don't want to be caught off guard like that. And so I sat and I did a plan, which was 20 years. Sounds very nice. Wow. But I didn't even share that plan with anyone. So it was my plan. I put it at the lock and key. So there is no pressure. Nobody is asking me. Nobody knows what I want to do. So it took me more than a year, actually, to take action in one thing. Any. So when you hear me passionate about personal growth, it's because I know you can waste yourself. I wasted more than a year, actually. But I can tell you a fact, much as I didn't know much, most of the things I wrote on that plan, they have come to pass. I am here today because it's what I had said I want to do. Not to come to Hope Studio. It wasn't there then. But to do something for myself. It's what I had said. I had even said when I would want to retire. I missed that mark a little, but I was still a bit on track. So it is important. Don't allow yourself to be caught off guard. And especially now when the job market is very uncertain, it is important for you to have a plan. When I talk to young people, high schoolers, I tell them to do a plan. Trust me, they do a plan. And I ask them, where do you see yourself in 15 years from now? And they actually tell you. Then they start visualizing. And that helps them now work backwards. If this is what I want and this is where I want to go, then what do I need to do for me to get there? And it is so powerful. You actually see them lighten up and tell you, I will be working in this place. They already have a place where they would want to work. And that is what we call visualization. And it works. It is powerful. So yes, the plan works. I have seen it work. And I would urge anybody at whatever age, don't start late. Start as early as possible and work your plan.
Does the plan keep changing? I'm wondering, do you keep on reviewing after a year, after 3 months, after checking the progress, or is it just constant? No.
You have to keep reviewing. Today, I wouldn't really recommend you do 20 years because things are changing very rapidly. So, in fact, some of the things, let me say this, some of the things I had put, they became obsolete. Yeah, they became obsolete. So 20 years may be too long, but 5 years is a good plan. 3 years is a good plan, but you have to keep monitoring. Actually, when you do the plan, it may sound overwhelming, like Sharon said, but you need to chunk it into portions. If you decide to do even a 5-year plan, chunk it. What do I want to have accomplished in 1 year? Then you come and chunk that 1 year and say, what do I want to have accomplished in the first quarter, in the second quarter, so that it is achievable, it is manageable. When you look at it in 20 years or 5 years, it may be overwhelming for a lot of people. And actually, we are not even thought to think that far. Many of us actually just think this year, the longest. Some don't even go to the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are living day by day, which is sad.
One day
Yeah.
at a time.
One day at
One
a time,
day at a time, sweet Jesus. Yeah, it's all I'm asking of you. But we need to have a plan. God actually honors plans. We see that in the Proverbs. We have to have a plan. We have to know where you're going. Because if you don't know where you're going, you will fit in other people's agendas.
Yeah.
And now, just talking about other people's agenda, I'm wondering, is there a way someone who has a plan for growth and someone who doesn't have a plan for growth, do these people have any impact to the community, to the society, or to their families?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you have a plan and you have looked at every aspect of your life, the aspect of the community comes in the social. What do you want to do for the community? For me, I want to impact young people. I want to develop, mentor, coach 1 million people in 5 years. I don't know how I will do that. Maybe this is one of them.
Definitely.
Definitely. But it is a plan. I already know. If I don't know what I want for the community, then I will not be useful for the community. I will not have my impact in the community. So having a plan will help you, even in the family.
Yes.
When you look at the relationships, what kind of relationships do I want to see in the family? And the fact that you're conscious and you're intentional about building relationships, it's going to strengthen the family bond for you. If you strengthen the family bond, you can be sure even in the community, it will be the same. We've said how you do one thing is how you do everything else. So you will find that you will not waste your time. When you have a plan, it helps you to be very effective. You don't waste time thinking, what do I need to be doing here? You know what you need to be doing, and you go and do it. When it comes to making decisions, it helps you make decisions faster. Because you already know what you want.
Yeah.
You're not starting from a point of, what do I need to be doing here now? You get.
Yes.
So it helps you to actually be very efficient. And if you're in employment, you become a very effective worker or manager or whatever, because you already know what you want. There is no time wasting here trying to grope in the dark because you don't know what you want.
Trying to warm seats. Something.
Yes.
Yeah, waiting for the time to clock out.
I can just see that from your point, is just that someone without a plan for growth is actually a setback to the society.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. The other day, I was in a workshop, and we had a 73-year-old man came. I thought I was a planner, but I thought, wow. When I sat under that man's feet, I thought, what? He has a plan. He is 73 now.
Wow.
He is still working. He's still lecturing at a university, not here,
Yes.
out there, but he's Kenyan. And he is very, very keen on plans. He told us he started planning when he was 19 before he got married. He got married and he knew exactly what it is that he wanted with his family, and they sit with the family and they plan every one of them. And the thing that really I picked from him was the fact that he evaluates. You know what you are saying? Do you
Yes.
keep evaluating?
Yeah.
He evaluates. You evaluate that plan. You have to. How am I doing? If you're not doing well, what do I need to do for me to get to where I wanted to go? One thing that will help you very much, that plan that will make you a more effective person, is that it helps you to remain focused.
All right.
You're not actually distracted by any shiny object coming, because you already know where you're going and what you want to accomplish.
It's interesting because what I also hear you say, Alice, is that you don't just live for yourself. When you have a plan,
No.
everyone else around you is factored. It's not just me, myself, and I kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we want meant to be for ourselves. I'm doing a new book, and when it comes out, I hope you will read it. And one of the things I have said, what you have just said, whatever you are here to do is not for you. It's not for yourself. Whatever gifts that God has given you, they are not for your consumption, Sharon.
Yeah.
They are for helping, for serving the people of God, for serving the community. So if you don't even know why you're here to start with, how will you be impactful in the community? You won't be impactful in the community. Yeah. And if you have no plan, then you will be part of the problem. You're not being part of the solution.
I see.
Ouch. Okay, so what are some of the things that hinder personal growth or personal development?
Great question. One of it is what we had touched on when we started. Nobody ever taught us.
Yeah.
So we don't have the information. So we are not going to beat ourselves because we don't have a plan. Nobody actually taught us. We've never sat in a class. Let me just digress and say this. I was facilitating a class for university students, and one lecturer was present. And after the class, he said, you have challenged me. As old as I am, I do not have a plan.
Wow.
And it is the story I hear all the time when I meet people and I'm coaching them. We don't know. We don't have the information.
Yeah.
But now we have the information.
Right.
So you can't continue without a plan if you have listened to this today. The other thing...
Franc umesikia.
and I will follow up to see whether you have a plan, Frank.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The other thing is procrastination. Isn't that
Yes.
the elephant in the room?
Yeah, sure.
Indeed.
Surely.
I tell people I was a master procrastinator, and sometimes they think, no, you're doing well. But I have just told you, I had a plan which I didn't implement for more than a year.
Yes.
That is just procrastination, and procrastination affects everybody. Even the highest performers, they suffer this. What makes the difference is that they have a support system. When you walk alone, you can be sure you will suffer that monster, procrastination. When you have a support system, they will help you, they will hold you to account, share what you're doing with people so that they can hold you to account. The other thing is comfort. People love comfort. They start thinking, that is too much work, Alice. Now what is that you're telling us? It means I have to do this.
Yeah.
Comfort is actually what has denied a lot of us what we need to do, maximizing our potential. And let me tell you here, frankly, there is no success in the comfort zone. Success happens outside the comfort zone.
Wow.
It's
All
for
right.
those who dare to take risks, to take chances. That's where success is found. And lack of self-discipline. I think we talked about that.
Yes.
You can have that plan, but are you committed to it? We lack the commitment to do the things that matter to us. We keep saying, I don't have time.
We never
Isn't
have
it?
time.
Nobody ever has time. Nobody ever has time.
time.
You do not have time.
Time is
But when
meant
you
for
plan
everything.
for the things that are important to you,
Yes.
you will have time.
Right.
Yes, because you are doing something. It's not that you're not doing something. Why are you doing that something? It's probably because it's important to you.
Yeah.
So if this is important to you, there will be time.
All right.
Yes.
Now, talking about this person out there who is probably doesn't have a plan and they're thinking of having one to foster their personal growth. What can they do right now? Where do they start?
Just start. Just start where you are. Begin by asking yourself, this is who I am. This is where I am. Maybe you can look back and ask yourself, what have I been able to accomplish? What would I want to accomplish? What kind of a person would I want to be? How would I want to be remembered by people if I exit? What I'm saying, you need to increase your level of awareness. What am I good at? What are my weaknesses? What are those things that make me lighten up? Then when you do that, begin to ask yourself, don't even go to 5 years plans because that may be too far for a lot of people. Just plan for a year. What do I want to have accomplished by the end of this year? And please write it down. I cannot overemphasize that. Please write it down.
Okay.
Write the vision down.
Write the vision down. If you need
Sometimes
help,
scriptural.
we are here. It's
Yeah.
scriptural,
Yeah.
isn't it? It is
Yeah.
scriptural. Habakkuk 2:2.
Yes.
Write it. Yeah. Write the revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a plan. I always say you can then present it to God. He tells us to give him our plans, our thoughts, anything.
Yeah.
And he will make our paths straight.
Straight.
He will guide us. So start wherever you are. Should you need help, help is available.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, Alice, is it possible for one to think, I don't need personal growth? Like, do you come across such situations where one feels like, mimi niko sawa, like, I'm okay?
Yes. Yes. It is one of the major hindrances to growth.
Yeah.
Imagining that you have arrived. Nobody ever arrives. Nobody is ever okay. I love what one of my coaches and mentors says. He says, everybody can be better. It doesn't matter whether you are at the top of your career, you can still be better.
Okay.
So personal growth, it is for everybody, but not everybody accepts it. Everybody should be there, but not everybody accepts it. Actually, there are people who don't want to change. There are people who are okay. They say, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And those are dangerous people to hang around with.
Okay.
The other thing that you need to be wary of, if you decide to go on personal growth, trust me, you might be on a lonely path. Let me warn you, because many people they think it's a lot of hard work.
Yes.
So they don't embrace it that much. And what will they do? They will not encourage you to grow. But as John Maxwell says, personal growth is a separator of people. It separates people. Yeah, because then you are effective in what you do. When you engage on personal growth, you have adopted a mindset of learning, continuous learning. And when you're learning and someone else is not learning, honestly, you can't be at par.
Yeah, you cannot be at par.
You can't be at par.
All right,
Just before we break,
hold it. Okay.
there's something that is coming up.
Is it very burning?
Yes, very burning.
Ask then she can
This
answer.
personal growth, can it be corporate? For instance, there's a company, there's an organization, they want to grow. Is this something they can take up?
As a group?
Yes.
It's personal, I'm thinking.
We are on personal.
Yes.
But unfortunately, with the people in corporates, we are always planning for the organization. Organizations always plan. Because if you're not planning as an organization, you're planning to fail, you're planning not to grow. You're planning yourself out of the market. So you will find almost every organization has a strategic plan.
Yeah.
We are the people executing those plans, but we don't plan for ourselves. That's why personal
All
is
right.
important.
Right. Okay. It's all right. Santi Sana. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. If you just joined us, Karibu Sana. We continue the conversation on personal growth or personal development with Coach Alice Ngigi. And Alice, someone is saying, please take us back, kidogo. What exactly did you say personal growth and development is?
Great. Personal growth is a process. It's actually a journey. It's not an event of personal self-improvement. You want to improve yourself in different areas of your life.
Yeah.
And we talked about those different categories or aspects of your life: critical, spiritual, career, financial, family, relations. Personal growth, you have to plan for it. You have to plan for your fun, for your recreation. So it is looking at your life as a whole, holistically, so that you can now ask yourself, where do I need to improve? Where am I not doing well? And we know ourselves. So look at yourself. Ask yourself, where do I need to improve on?
When you plan, and probably your plan is shut down by other things that are not procrastination or comfort. You know, but let's just say, for example, you mentioned recreation as one of the things you need to plan for. You had planned that you will go somewhere, and then there is no money, for example. How do you reconcile that? Do you now, say, okay, so I will not do anything, so I'll plan for another year, or what do you do?
Usually when you're planning, you need to incorporate or think about what could hold me back. Obstacles.
All right.
Yeah, when you're planning, you need to ask what would actually stand in the way. Because I believe when you're planning for a holiday, for example, you're planning for the money. Where will the money come from? I want to go for a holiday. I just won't find myself there. I will need money. How will I raise that money?
Yes.
So those are the conversations that you will be having with yourself. So if you, for example, maybe something happened and the money went, you maybe had planned for it. Part of what you had planned for was, if something comes up, what will happen? What will I do? It's if you didn't have that kind of a plan, probably you will have to wait for another year for you to now raise enough money to travel. But the idea of thinking about the obstacles up front helps you be prepared. So you won't be caught off guard.
All right.
So you will have a plan B.
You will have a plan B.
Okay.
Yeah.
This reminds me of our discussion on Monday. What's holding you back from achieving your dreams or goals?
Right.
And money was
one of the things that was mentioned.
Let me just say that because it keeps coming. But I tell people, imagine money is really not the problem. No.
What's the problem?
Many times we lack clarity. Someone has actually said we don't lack resources, we lack clarity. Or we lack resourceful minds.
Oh.
all right.
And again, when we talk about resources, people narrow it to money. But money is not the only resource that you need.
All right.
People are a resource. Information is a resource. Knowledge is a resource. Things are a resource. So when you sit with me and you tell me you have no money, we look back and we actually realize that you actually have money. Yeah, you
In the
do.
form of people and
In form of, yes,
Other
many
things,
things, other
knowledge.
things, yeah. You just need to think. Sometimes you have things in your house you don't need, and maybe the little money you need, you can sell something. It's just resourcefulness that we need to have.
That's
You've
challenging.
just reminded me. I think I have something in my house.
Should we wait to celebrate tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I need to sell and do something. Very loud and clear. This one says, loving the show from Kisumu. A question: how do I incorporate my family members into my plan? Should they be part of the making process?
Oh yeah. If you're making a plan for the family, it is important for you to actually plan together. That story that I gave, I say that man challenged me because for me, that is something that I have not quite incorporated. I encourage everybody to have their plan, but what is your plan as a family together? We have, but it is not written. We will go to write it. I have owned up on air. But it is important. If you're coming up with a plan for the family, include every person who is part of that family. You will find that you will not struggle with them. If for example, you're thinking of maybe building a home in a few years' time, and so you are planning, you are saving money, the children understand. When you tell them we have to cut on 1, 2, 3, they understand because we involved them in the plan from the beginning. And this is about them. Let them also give their input, their views. What do they think? Because they have ideas. The children have ideas as well. Unfortunately, how we have been socialized, we grew up, especially when I grew up, children were just supposed to be seen. And unfortunately, we have carried that up without thinking that now children need to be involved in what is happening in the family. They are part and parcel of that family. But even as you have a family plan together, encourage everybody to have their personal plan.
Okay.
All right.
So that should not be confused for the family plan. Should not be confused for the plan for everyone.
No, because everybody has a plan of their life.
Has a life of themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, fine. And this one, please help. I have been in business in a salon. I don't know, as an employee or owning the business since 2016. All I get just ends up in the mouth. What can I do? I'm not sure we have, but just in brief, probably.
Yes. What is your plan for life when you go to work? And that will actually answer for everybody else, not just someone who is that person asking for the salon. If you don't have a plan, even for your money answers to clarity. What do you want? In fact, just that workshop we were told you must be very clear about money. Why do you want the money? And if you don't have that clear, you can be sure that money will go into other people's pockets. And it will leave your pocket empty. Yeah.
Okay.
It will go where there is a plan.
Yes, where there is a plan.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
It answers things.
Yes, money,
Actually,
yes.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It answers. The Bible says it answers.
Yes, it does.
Interesting. Okay, thank you so much, Alice. Our time is pretty much well spent. We have just 2 minutes to wrap it up. How do you want us to close? A comment, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
In closing?
Yeah. And I will actually close by quoting the Bible. I will quote Proverbs 15:22. Without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors, they succeed. What does that mean? God expects us to have plans. Right. And when we have those plans, let's not keep them like I did mine. Let's share them with people so that they can support us, they can encourage us on the way, and they can hold us to account.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alice. Alice Ngigi, helping us with this conversation and discussion on matters personal growth or personal development. Thank you so much for making time to be with us.